What's up, everybody? That's right. It is Tuesday night, and you know what that means. That's right. It's another edition of Real Boxing with Coach Ronnie Shields.
Boxing Source proudly presents Real Boxing with legendary fight trainer Ronnie Shields.
All right, that's right. That's right. We are here. We are live here for June 24th, 2025, here with another edition of Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields. And of course, I have my co-host from War a Week Boxing, Mr. Joseph Heron. How you doing there, Joseph?
Woo! My favorite time of the week, and congratulations to the all-time great badass, Coach Ronnie Shields. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh man, that's man. Right.
Hey, congratulations, David Stevens.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, yep. I tell you what, man. Great weekend of boxing. And can I ask you this just before we get started?
Yeah, sure.
Did Vito hurt his right hand?
Yes, in the 8th round.
I knew it.
Yep. We watched the fight, man, and we seen like he was, on and popping there for the majority of the fight, and then all of a sudden in that 8th round, he really wasn't using that hand. So
yeah,
we thought, he must have did something.
He hit the guy on his elbow, and right on the knuckle part.
I saw that and he was going to the body. Was that part of the plan, Ronnie?
Yes. Oh, that was the plan. Go to the guy body, break this guy down. And I tell you, man, Vito followed the game plan to the T. Our plan was when this guy turned southpaw to throw double right hands at him. Mm-hmm. And that's what he dropped him with.
Yep.
Beautiful. So, look, the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm sorry, the commentary, and I love Raul. He's a great guy, as well as Paulie. But they were being a little too, unreasonable in their critique with Vito Milnecki. Did you get to hear any of that?
No, not at all.
Well, it's a good thing because I was getting ready to throw my stool, man, through the TV.
Oh.
Well, you in the sport, you just got to accept the good commentary with the bad. So we can't worry about that. The most important thing is Vito did a great job. He won the fight. And when he came back to the corner after the 8th round, he said, I can't throw the right hand much. It's really bothering me. So I said, no problem. I say, just use the left hand and just double, triple your jab up. Just go over time with the jab and give me the head movement. And that's what he did. That's how, when you have an injury, you can't stop. You got to continue doing it. And I told him the most important thing is that we just won the rounds. Yep. Even the rest rounds, we have to win the rest rounds. And he did that perfectly.
I thought it was an excellent performance. And once again, I thought the harsh critique was a bit unreasonable. Once again, you love to see knockouts, but, when you hurt your right hand, it's really, really virtually impossible to go for the coup de grace, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, the most important thing is is to win, number one. And number two, he was a great win for him. He fought an undefeated guy who had tons of amateur fights. This guy was really experienced. He had a lot of experience in the amateurs and in the professionals. And, I thought Vito won every round. And even when he couldn't throw the right hand, he still won the round with one hand. And, and we practice on things like this just in case it happens. And this is why it's called training.
That is very, very smart. Congratulations, Ronnie. And once again, the judges, they saw it exactly the way you did. All three judges scored it a shutout.
Oh,
189.
No doubt.
So
Absolutely.
I don't know what Paulie and Raul are talking about.
Oh man, yeah, they. The thing is, that's kind of what we hear on those pro box telecasts and things like that. And well, hopefully, we don't see that or more of that here with future top ranked telecasts. But that's something that remains to be seen there. But with Vito Milnicki Jr., he definitely did his thing there. Was able to get that win over Godzilla and have him climb up those ranks there in the middleweight division. I know that they had another middleweight bout there on that card as well with one of the guys that you work with in Chuck Simpson, but he fell short to Jahad Tucker there in that particular fight, and that was a pretty good action fight, close fight that Jahad Tucker ended up winning there. And some people are thinking that you might have a mix and match between like Vito Milnicki and a Jahad Tucker later on down the line there in the middleweight division. You also have a middleweight contender there in with Isley there, of course, from Alexandria, Virginia, that had his bout a few weeks ago too. So a lot of mixing and matching there with a lot of those middleweights there at top rank.
Coach Ronnie, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I will say this also, and that's another thing. They were just off for some reason on Saturday night because they didn't agree with the judges. They thought it was a shutout by Jahad Tucker, and I thought it was a very, very competitive fight. I scored it 6 rounds to 4 for Jahad Tucker, but I thought it was a lot more competitive than the way the commentators were calling it.
Yeah, I watched the fight in the back, and I thought it was a close fight also. I just think that Truck, he could have picked it up. I didn't train him for this fight, but, he went to Baltimore because there's no way I could have worked with him and Vito back to back, So so he went back to Baltimore to train for the fight. And, it just, I give Jahai a lot of credit because when Truck would look like he was coming on, Jahai would just come right back and throw punches, to just keep him off balance. And he just kept consistently doing that. And Truck never really got a rhythm. But, I just thought Truck won about 4 rounds also. And it was a good close fight. But, you can't take anything from Jahai. Jahai really looked good in the fight. And it was a good competitive fight. But that's what people want to pay to see.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and you can't win them all. And I tell you what, I thought he did a very good Liam Perro impression, Jahad Tucker, smothering Truck's offense.
Yeah, he did. He did a good job. They had a great game plan. And, hopefully Truck can come back from this. But, here's the thing. I didn't agree that Truck should have took the fight at 160 pounds because Truck hadn't made 160 pounds in like 4 years, and, to just go and take that fight at that weight, I thought it was a mistake. I didn't think he could have been himself. And he told me he felt good, though. He felt good getting down to 160. But, he's definitely not a 60-pounder. He's definitely a 68-pounder.
Yeah, he didn't seem to have the same crack in his shot, and his work
No.
rate suffered, I thought.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it did. It did. You know, it wasn't him. You know, you could see it. You know, it just wasn't him. But but you live and you learn in this sport.
Well,
Yeah.
at least he's not one of Eddie Hearn's fighters.
Oh man. It seems like we'll be able to get to that here, in a bit in one of our fact or fiction things. But before we kind of get started, I wanted to see if I could get this going and see if this go through. So hopefully this.
Hold on, James.
Uh-huh.
Look, before we get started, can I just say, please, guys, make it stop. This weekend, we're seeing 3 pay-per-views, and none of them should be on pay-per-view. You've got the return of Jean Pascal on Triller pay-per-view. You've got Chavez versus Jake Paul on pay-per-view. And then you've got Deontay Shot Wilder versus Terrell, scared of my own shadow, Herndon, on pay-per-view. Guys, come on, we can do better than this. But we'll talk about that in Fact or Fiction as well. I'm sorry, James. I just had to put that out there.
All right. So I'll just have this here, see if I can share this. Comes on the screen there. So let me see if it gets on here on the screen. So so this was Frank there earlier today, posted this not long after I put the announcement there of
who's that young man?
Wait a minute. Hey, he pulled this. I was like, oh man, what timing? Oh,
man,
look at that guy right there.
One of Eddie Hearn's fighters.
Oh man.
No.
Boy, who is that young man right there? Holy shnikes.
Yeah.
Boy, that dude could fight.
Yeah, man. He could fight right there, man.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Boy,
Yeah,
you're
good.
a badass, coach.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, big shout out there to Top Rank Boxing there for putting that clip up, and a quick shout out to those in the chat here. My guy Just Do Boxing in the building. This is a shout out to Coach Ronnie Shields and my guy Thomas Hill, who calls me Not Riddick Bowe. Says salute my man's them, the boxing source, and the great Ronnie Shields, and brother Z Pacino's in the building. Says salute to the panel. Congrats on the wins, coach. And Chief Funky Boxing is in here, giving greetings. And brother Z Pacino looking at the clip saying, "Hey, that's a bad man."
He sure is. He still is. Tell you what,
man.
how you doing, brother G Funky? Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, man. Good to see G Funky here in the building. All right, let's get started here, and we're gonna start it off, of course, with our
get busy living or get busy dying, or get busy playing rapid fire Q&A with Coach Ronnie Shields.
All right. Here we go. Rapid fire. You ready, Coach?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Soul Train Line or MTV's Unplugged?
Oh, Soul Train Line, man. All day.
Oh yeah, that was an easy one. That was an easy one.
Oh yeah. You gotta come with something better than that.
Oh, come on, man. I'm an acoustic guitar player, man. Hey, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Man, I'm getting tired of getting shunned on this episode, man, for this segment.
Oh man, all right. Here we go with the next one. Run DMC or the Beastie Boys?
Oh,
that's a tough one, but I gotta go with Run DMC on this one.
The Pioneers. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Here we go with the next one. Pogs or Pet Rocks?
Yeah.
Gotta go with the Pet Rocks on this one.
The good old 70s.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that was a thing, Coach. And everyone had one.
Yeah.
Ching out, man.
All right. Here we go with this next one. All right. Here it is. Diana Ross or Whitney Houston?
Well, I gotta go with Diana on this one.
Uh-huh.
Old school, man. I gotta go with Diana Ross.
Come on, man. She played Dorothy in The Wiz.
Hey, I'm trying to tell
Come
you.
on now.
He's on
Yeah,
down. He's on down the road.
He's on
Yeah,
down the
she
road.
could
That's
actually
right.
act too, unlike Whitney Houston, man, in The Bodyguard. Ching,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
awful.
Oh man, don't remind me of that song on the Bodyguard soundtrack.
No,
Okay?
you
Please
mean
don't.
the Dolly Parton song?
Yeah, that. All right, here we go. Boombox on your shoulder or the Walkman in your pocket.
Ooh, the boom back on the shoulder.
Yes.
That's old school, that right?
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Oh, the
Yeah,
good
that was
old
a good
days,
one.
man.
That was a good one. That was a good one. All right. Here we go with this next one. John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever or Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing.
Oh, I gotta go with my boy John Travolta. Saturday Night
Oh,
Fever.
boo.
No, I wasn't a Patrick Swayze fan.
Well, he gets my sympathy because of his battle with cancer, and that's
Yeah.
it. Plus, he was one of the outsiders, man. Come on now.
Yeah. All
Man,
right. Here
that's
we go.
another Jody Watley, brother.
Well, I don't know. We might have another. We might have another one down the line. But we'll see. All right, but it might not be this one here. Here we go. LL Cool J or Tupac.
Ooh, that's a good one, but I gotta go with my boy Pac.
That's right. Tupac was never at a Diddy party.
That's right.
Oh man,
something tells me that's coming up, man, on Fact or Fiction also.
that could come up too. Oh goodness. All right, here we go with another one. The Pac-Man high score or a Street Fighter 2 win streak.
Pac-Man high score.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Pac-Man high score, baby.
I knew this one. Street Fighter 2 is more my era.
Yeah, that's your era, yeah.
My era. That 1991, 1992, that was like one of the first games I had on Super Nintendo. So once that came out, yeah, that was 91, 92. You're on that one. All right. Here we go with this next one. Reading Rainbow or Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Reading Rainbow.
Oh man. Yeah, I never liked Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah,
No, he seemed kind of like a weenie to me, didn't he?
Oh man, yeah, that's another one. That's
I think it was the bow tie.
Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
Ching out.
Oh man. Hey, Justin Boston says, yeah, you got boxing royalty up here. Yep. Definitely definitely thankful to have Coach Brian on here with us. And G Funky Boxing says, hey, nothing beats that boombox sound.
Nothing.
And he picks Tupac as well. And he also says that Street Fighter 2 had the longest lines at the arcade. Hey,
well, that's because you weren't around when Pac-Man first came out, brother.
There it is. That's there it is. There it is.
Oh man, yeah. Once again,
I tell you what I always hated when I was playing, and then someone would put their quarters up, man, while I'm playing. Yep. I'm like, dude, get those damn quarters off, man. I'm still playing, homie. Oh, I hated that.
I think everybody did.
Yeah, they sure did. Oh man, that's almost like, you know, like if you had a thing for putting money in a pool table and then people put quarters on the pool table, like, you ain't done with the pool table. Nah, you better get them quarters up. We ain't done yet.
Oh, I always hated that, man. Oh, ching out. I was like, man, go somewhere else, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I got one right here, dude. Check it out. This one's for you, Ronnie.
There we go.
Let's see. What's this next one here?
In the comment section.
Here we go with this here real quick. All right. Better small forward, Larry Bird or Elgin Baylor?
Oh, Elgin Baylor.
Woo!
Elgin Baylor all day long.
See, I thought it was going to be another Jody Watley, but you surprised me, brother. You surprised me, and I'm very thankful.
Wasn't, yeah, that's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. We might have one though later on down the line, so we'll see how that goes. But first, let's see if we could get into this part of the show here. So we got to queue up our guy, our favorite fighter, or maybe not.
Hey, this show needed the cash cow back to introduce fact or fiction.
See that's why we can't be the favorite, because hey, we got to pay so much money in order to get those drops. All right.
Oh boy.
All right, here we go with number one in fact or fiction. All right, both the Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and the Deontay Wilder, Tyrell Herndon fights will be featured on a pay-per-view platform this weekend, but for two very different reasons: fact or fiction.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I think for at least for Jake Paul and Chavez Jr., I mean, I think they really just trying to test Jake Paul to see where he is, if he can really fight as a professional boxer. But I don't know if we're going to get the best Chavez Jr., because the last time I saw him fight, he sucked bad. So
Yeah.
hopefully he got himself in shape and not just going for the money. But the Wilder Herndon fight, I don't see it. I don't see the reason for this fight on pay-per-view, of all places. You know, if you could have stuck this on Nickelodeon or something like that,
Yeah.
I can understand people watching it, but not on pay-per-view. I don't see it. You know, Wilder's a really good fighter, but Herndon, he's not,
Scaredy cat.
he's not a household name, number one. Scaredy cat, number two.
Yeah.
And, why is this pay-per-view worthy? I don't know, but who knows, And, I think Wilder still has that big punch, and, and I expect Wilder to knock him out early.
Yeah, I mean that one is more about a feature for Deontay Wilder, seeing where he is at this particular point of his career. He's had a couple of bad breaks there with his fights against Joseph Parker and against Lei Zhang, and had just recovered from surgery, as he had surgery on the shoulder. So we're just seeing here if they're able to get him in full strength and be able to fully utilize his punches there on this front. So, but given how much that he's kind of been asking for in these purses over the past few years, of course he's going to have some type of minimum, no matter who his opponent is going to be against. So, with that being said, that's why it's pretty much forced to be on a pay-per-view type of platform. And then on the flip side,
look, brother James, it's now Chavez, Jake Paul. It's on DAZN, but they're asking for too much damn money, and so DAZN is having to put it on pay-per-view out of necessity. A lot like Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis.
Yeah.
Okay, but this Deontay Wilder fight, the only reason why this is on pay-per-view is because no network was interested.
Right.
That's it. So it's not like you cannot compare, even though these aren't pay-per-view worthy fights. It's a very different era in boxing. This isn't Trinidad versus De La Hoya.
No.
Not by any stretch of the imagination.
Absolutely not.
So we're living in a different era, guys, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's Deontay Wilder's fight is right there with Girls Gone Wild.
Oh man. Well, at least you got a good. At least you knew you had a show with that latter one. Oh yeah. Z Pacino here says the Wilder is going on his Bum of the Month tour. Oh, G Funky Boxing says that he can't take Chavez Jr. serious after seeing him eat Cheetos and panties on.
Oh my gosh, dude!
That
was so embarrassing. And then he stood up Freddie Roach at the wild card.
Oh yeah, he did. Oh man, and big ups to Lance Meyer in the chat says, "Hey, Coach Vito did very well in his fight there."
Thank you.
Yep. So he definitely did there. So, but yeah, this coming up Saturday with the Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Listen, I would not be surprised if Jake Paul wins by TKO. I've been saying it since that press conference. Like I'm not convinced that Chavez Jr. is by any stretch of the imagination, like really prepared for this upcoming fight.
Wait a minute. What you're saying is Mijo's going to quit on his stool again?
Again.
That is a certainty. That is a certainty, guys.
Well, I'll be there because I got my heavyweight Josh Edwards on that card.
Woo!
The
Something tells me that the coach is going to duck out to the airport before the main event starts.
No, I wish I could, but I can't get a flight.
Oh.
They don't have red eyes.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well, you're going to be in a shuttle back to your hotel before the main event starts.
There
Because
you
I
go.
would do that.
Yep. So that's right. Well, they got him lined up, Joshua Edwards lined up against Dominic Hardy, part of that card. So y'all be prepared to watch Edwards go in and get another another knockout there on deck. So be sure to tune in for that. All right. Here we go with number 2 in Fact or Fiction. Although Turkey LLC has mentioned Hamza Shiraz or Chris Eubank Jr. for Cinco de Mayo weekend 2026, Canelo Alvarez will choose to face Jake Paul instead after he defeats Chavez this weekend. Fact or fiction?
Well, that could be fact and that could be fiction. Look, here's the thing, right? I'm still going for Crawford, no matter what nobody says. I'm rooting for Crawford. And I think Crawford is going to upset the apple cart on this one. And then what's going to happen? Then it's not going to matter if Canelo fights Jake Paul or whoever. It doesn't matter. But, I think the fight that people are going to really be interested in is Shiraz and Chris Eubank Jr. Or Chris Eubank Jr. for the Cinco de Mayo weekend. Because Shiraz had a tough fight against Berlanga. And, I think it's a 50-50 fight, to tell you the truth. I don't know if Shiraz can win this fight. So we're going to definitely check that out and see what's going to happen on that. But as far as Chris Eubank Jr., I don't know anything with what he's doing right now. And as far as Jake Paul and Chavez this weekend, I'm like y'all on this one. I think Chavez is going to catch a cab.
Oh, boy. He's going to phone it in?
Absolutely.
Oh, boy.
Give it
Mijo,
about 3 rounds.
Mijo, stop doing blow in the gym, Mijo. Dang, gal.
Give it about 3 rounds, and he's gonna mail it in after 3 rounds.
Yeah, he's gonna.
No. I'll give it 5. I'll give it 5 because it's Jake Paul.
But you know what's a shame is that his father is going to have to sit there and endure that. The great legend Julio Sr. is going to have to sit there and watch that. That's what's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Julio, man. Oh my goodness. Now, this is where you take the line from Smokey and the Bandit, right? Buford T. Justice.
Yeah.
Junior, there's no way you could come from my loins. The first thing I'm going to do when I get home is punch your mama in the mouth. The late, great Jack Jackson, man.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as you said there, Coach, I'm with you on the thing for September 13th. I'm picking Crawford, for the win there. But yeah, I also think it's not really gonna affect what happens with the future there of Canelo Alvarez, unless that fight on September 13th can produce a rematch.
Yeah,
maybe. But
now look, guys. If Crawford does, if Coach Ronnie and Eddie Hearn and Bomac and surprisingly, a lot of people are jumping on the Crawford bandwagon in this thing.
Yeah.
So if Crawford does win, you can put it in the bank.
Yeah.
He's fighting Jake Paul, Cinco de Mayo weekend. That, look, win or lose, that is the biggest event that Canelo could participate in next year, and it's going to be on Netflix.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Take it to the bank if Crawford wins.
Oh yeah.
You know he's not going to want a rematch.
No.
Nope. He certainly isn't. Certainly is not. So, I
So,
mean,
Coach Ronnie, do you take exception to people comparing this to Marvin Hagler versus Sugar Ray Leonard?
Oh, no doubt. This ain't that kind of fight. Definitely not that kind of fight. You know, when Hagler and Leonard fought, it was, you know, these guys was in their prime. You know, not to say that Canelo and Crawford is in their prime, but it's nothing like compared to that. No way you can compare Crawford and Canelo to Hagler and Leonard. No
Yeah,
way.
look at their most recent opponents, right? Before that massive fight, right? Respectively.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I can compare William Skull to John the Beast Mugabe.
No.
You?
You can't. No,
way.
definitely not.
In my opinion, Coach, and I want to get your opinion on this, did that war with Mugabe take something off of Hagler going into that Leonard fight?
Oh, no doubt. It took a lot out of him, man. He aged 10 years in that fight. He did. He aged 10 years in that fight. You know.
Oh, that was a war, man. Oof.
But, it happens in the sport, But, but still Hagler, man. You know you was going to get 100% out of Hagler every fight.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who you put him in with, he was coming in shape, and he was going to give you everything that he had. That's what's lacking in the sport today.
Yeah, and Marvin Hagler didn't have that Eddie Reynoso steakhouse dinner either.
No, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, definitely didn't. Definitely did not. Oh man, those steaks. Oh geez. All right. Now we move to number 3 in Fact or Fiction. Here we go. Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez is nuts if he thinks he's getting a Jake Paul fight. Not next, but ever. Fact or fiction?
That could be a fact. That could be a fact. Because, a lot of people don't know Zurdo. And Jake Paul is into making money. And this is the reason he's fighting Chavez Jr. because of the Chavez name. And not because of Junior, but because of the name of the father. It's the reason they're doing this. And they know people are still going to support the father because of his son. Because it's his son. And so he's going to be there. So that's why people are going to support him and buy this pay-per-view. But for Zurdo, I mean, who knows him? Not many people know Zurdo. So, and really and truly, I really think he could beat Jake Paul. So, and I wouldn't see no reason why Jake Paul would want to fight him anyway.
There it is. There it is. And that's what Oscar's hoping for, but it's never going to happen. Sorry, Oscar.
But, Oscar got some influence. He may can influence Jake Paul. You never know.
Yeah, well, the sun shines on a dog's ass every now and again.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. I can't believe, guys, we're talking about Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. this weekend.
I know.
Chingo. Boxing, where have you gone? Chihuahua.
Yeah. I mean, that goes to the whole thing where we say, like, you got all of these events that are on the same day or the same weekend. And then the following weekend or 2 weeks after, there'll be a lull in action or something, so to where you can probably get something like this. But hey, that's the sport of boxing for you, So there you go. All right, here we go with number 4. Jerome Bucinis is not ready for Virgil Ortiz Jr. at 154 pounds in his next fight. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that's fiction.
Woo!
Man, let me tell you something. Boots can fight, man.
Yeah.
Boots can fight at 154 pounds. Look, the dude walks around at 175, so why couldn't he? And he was just going down to 47. But Boots is a highly skilled fighter, man, and he can fight Virgil Ortiz or anybody else. It's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. He's a really smart fighter, and he always gets in shape, and he's always prepared. Sometimes though that weight hurts you. Sometimes just simply look at Truck the other night. It was because of the weight. It wasn't because of his skill set. And Boots has skills, but he's too big for 147. So, his body is telling him, look, man, what are you waiting on? Let's go. Get me up there. Your body talks to you. And it's going to let you know one way or another, if you try to kill it, it's not going to perform for you. So Boots knows this. This is why he's not fighting at 147 pounds anymore.
Sorry, Norman.
Yes, well, Norman will soon be at 154. So, it's not completely out of pocket that he's not going to fight Boots. That fight can happen down the line.
Yeah, you're exactly right. About what you said there with Jerome Bucinis. He's had his entire career there at 147 pounds, and you can get to a point where it gets really tough to make it for that particular weight class, and you don't want to overexert yourself to where you're not performing at an optimal level just to try to make that weight class. And we mentioned this thing here with Virgil Ortiz Jr., where Virgil Ortiz had a whole year where he had a lot of trouble, making 147 pounds and got really sick, and that's why we didn't get his fight against Iammanis Stanionis. I think that was for 2023. So he eventually moved up to 154, and so now he's at 154, competing in 154. Now we're gonna have Bucinis out there, getting ready for that 154-pound division. And he recently said that him and Virgil Ortiz is like that type of super fight there at 154 pounds. So I mean, while we are not going to necessarily get it next, we're definitely going to get it because he definitely wants it.
I don't know. Turkey Al-Sheikh mentioned he wants to make that fight for November. That's the reason why it's in fact or fiction. In my opinion, he needs a tune. He needs a tune-up to get acclimated to the weight. But hey, what do I know, Ronnie? Let's ask the pro.
Well, here's the thing, right? You spar with big guys every day in the gym. So trust me, it's no difference. You don't need that, just specifically need to get a fight, at 154, just to say, okay, I can knock a 154-pounder out. Because if they do that, they're going to put a less of an opponent in there with him. So it doesn't matter what weight you're going to be at if you're going to do that. If you're going to do that, it don't make sense to just say, okay, I could see heavyweights doing that, but heavyweights is the only one that I could see trying to acclimate to a division that you're not used to. And I can only see heavyweights doing that. But everybody else, no. Bruce had the skill level to fight anybody. And rightfully so, he should go straight to the top. He shouldn't have to fight these number 250 ranked fighters to prove what? That he can fight at under 54 pounds? I don't think so. He has to go to the top. He wants to make money in this sport too. got to remember, boxing is a business. You can't make money fighting these guys that just because you're 154 pounds and you going up in weight. That doesn't make sense. And it don't make any money either. So why take a chance in even doing that? You know, you want to go straight to the top because the ranking means a lot.
Very well said, Ronnie. Very well said, brother. That's a very good point with the heavyweights as well. I think you're right on the money.
Yep. And very good point there in reference to sparring too, as far as like, who to bring in there with you and things like that to get you prepared for, certain fighters or for fighters in a particular weight class. So that's the thing that we're going to look for Boots Ennis here in his first couple of fights at 154 pounds before, he gets to being there with more of the top contenders there at super welterweight. But speaking of sparring, oops, did I say that? We might have something here for number 5. All right. So here we go with number 5. Brian Norman Jr. will face Mario Barrios in a unification bout at 147 pounds next year. Fact or fiction?
Well, that could be a fact if Barrios beats Pacquiao. Again, we can't put the cart before the horse. We don't know what Pacquiao has left in him, but definitely if Barrios get by Pacquiao, definitely I want to see this fight with Brian Norman Jr. That'll be a great fight between him and Mario. It's a good fight.
That's all action.
Absolutely.
But come on, Ronnie. I know you love the Pacquiao. Everyone does. But you're being nice. You're being nice.
Well, he got it. I mean, look, the fight haven't happened. We don't know what Pacquiao is going to be like. I picked Barrios by KO, but I mean, still, we have to see what's going to happen. Sometimes in these things, the old man can come up with something that you haven't seen. So let's see what happens.
Oh, boy. I tell you what, with a Sunday morning hangover, Coach, Mario still knocks him out. Oh, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Hey, you have a message there.
Oh, man. All right. Hey, shout out to Champy here, coming in with $5 chat. All right, here we go. Fact or fiction, bonus fact or fiction. Jesus Ramos is a real 154-pound boogeyman and whoops all the top guys. He says facts. What do you say, Coach?
Fiction.
Boy, someone forgot to tell Erickson Lubin.
Yes. Somebody forgot to tell Lubin that.
Yeah.
But look, I'll be honest. I think Jesus Ramos, he's got that potential. He's an excellent fighter.
He is. He's a really good fighter. But I don't see him beating guys like Boots. I don't see that happening. And, I don't see him beating the top guys at 154 right now. But he's a good fighter. He really is. And, right now, he's a French contender.
I mean, yeah, he's, done his thing as far as like this year, trying to be as active as possible, already having a couple of fights where he had 2 fights within, like 6 weeks. So, he's trying to get back in the mix there at 154, being active again. So I want to see if he could get another fight in probably by the end of the summer and maybe one more fight here to, close out 2024. He's one of those guys that had that climb up there at 154 before facing Erickson Lubin. And, he was kind of favored to win that fight, but just got outboxed and outpointed there in September 2023. So
absolutely.
It shows that he knew then that he had some things to work on there. And that was like a matchup problem there on that front for Jesus Ramos Jr. at that point of his career.
Absolutely.
And Outlaw says here that Jesus Ramos' career is moving at a slow, very slow pace like a turtle. Hey, that's what it was last year. I mean, after having that one fight last year, he thought that he was going to be, really active there. He had the stoppage over Johan Gonzalez there on that Canelo versus Munguia fight card in Las Vegas. And then after that, didn't fight for the rest of the year. So it was like, yeah, when are we going to get him back in the ring? And it didn't happen until, February 1st against Jason Rosario, and then fighting Guido Strom that, got him back in the mix there as far as like being active here for this year. So that's the
Didn't
thing.
that guy he just faced didn't he cut my grass this past weekend?
Oh, come on, man. Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. Look, to champions.
No, he was the edger.
Oh.
Yeah, look, to Champy's defense, I agree with that. That was a terrible decision. That's what you get though when you ask Patricia Morse Jarman to be judge.
Well, I mean, maybe, I don't know, because now Lubin is now in position to, fight for the IBF title there against Bakr Murtazaliev there. But yeah, good luck to Lubin on that one, though.
Yeah.
With his chin?
Yeah. I don't know. It might just be honest with you. It might be even worse than Bakr versus Tim Tszyu. All right, here we go with number 6 in Fact or Fiction. Anthony Joshua will have a rubber match with Andy Ruiz Jr. in December. Fact or fiction?
I'm gonna say fiction. I don't see that happening. I don't think that fight does anything for Joshua. It's not like Andy Ruiz is like the number 1 guy in the division. If he was, then I would say, yeah, definitely go after him. But it doesn't do anything for him. I don't, at least on my end, I don't see it doing anything for Joshua to beat Ruiz. And then what? Fight who? I mean, that fight doesn't get him a world title fight. Joshua's name is the thing that's going to get him a world title fight. Joshua is one of the most popular heavyweights in the sport right now. So he don't need a guy like Andy Ruiz to push that even more. He doesn't need that.
So let me ask you this, Ronnie. And here's the reason why we brought this up to you. Do you think Anthony Joshua getting pummeled by Daniel Dubois, do you think he just got clipped early and never recovered? Or do you think he's, well in the back 9 of his career?
No, I think he got clipped early. I mean, watching the fight, I thought he did good for the first couple of rounds. And then after that, when he got clipped, the thing about Daniel Dubois is we all know he can punch.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a pretty good finisher also. So, and I think just getting hurt early, he really stunned Joshua, and he never recovered from it. So, but against a guy like Ruiz, I just don't see him having to fight Ruiz to get another big fight when he's the draw. I think Joshua can pick and choose whoever he wants to fight, and then if he can, if I don't know if he wants to fight the runner out of Dubois and Usyk. I really don't think I don't know if he wants that fight.
Well, I tell you what, if, man, either way, geez, I can't. Well, this is the heavyweight division, and he can punch, so we'll see what happens. But honestly, I didn't think about this either before we made the Fact or Fiction, but man, Andy Ruiz would probably price himself out like Teofimo Lopez anyway.
Of course. Look, anytime they fight Anthony Joshua, they want a lot of money, but they are not the draw. Joshua is the draw, People love Anthony Joshua, He's a big, he puts asses in seats. That's what he does.
Yep.
So, so he's going to pick and choose. And if he wants to fight for the world title, then he will. He will, but he don't need Andy Ruiz to do that.
So How about if he fought somebody like Agit Cabello?
Yeah,
No, 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 and no. He doesn't want to have anything to do with that young, big, strong cracker.
no, and he's
Nope.
not. He's not going to fight. Look, it doesn't do Anthony Joshua any good to fight these young up and coming guys because he don't have to, and he's not. Trust me, he's not. He's not going to fight these up and coming young guys to be, to have his name on their record.
Mm.
He's not going to do that. I will see him probably fight Fury or Deontay Wilder. I can see that happening.
Oh,
And then
geez.
fighting for the world title one more time before he called it quits. You got to understand. And Joshua is at the end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
So why should he fight these young up and coming guys? Why should he?
Mm.
It doesn't make sense for him to do that. That's not, I'm sure that's not in his plan to do that, to let one of these guys use his name as a stepping stone to get a world title fight. I don't see him doing that. Again, I see him fighting Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury next.
I would agree with that, Coach Ronnie. Very well said. And look, let's be honest, though. Anthony Joshua, give him some credit. He's not going to go the Canelo route and fight William Skull.
No,
he's
not going to do that. No,
Definitely
absolutely not.
Pride and too much integrity for the sport.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah. So maybe we could get Joshua versus Wilder for December. So here we go. Let's go, Wilder. We got this win on.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Shout out to of course more people in the chat here. Of course, my guy L Dub Boxing is in the building here to chop it up with us. And of course, our guy, the boxing academic, chiming in on number 6. Maybe for Joshua to get a confidence booster there, as he says, since Joshua seemingly has challenges with confidence at times. Oh man, that's the boxing academic for you, man. Well, he does have a little bit of a history there with Anthony Joshua, but that's a whole different story there. All right, so now that was, of course, part of our thing there for fact or fiction. But here we go with our next segment here on this episode, and that is
Maybe, just maybe, it's time for Coach Ronnie's Top 10. Bing!
Bing! Well, thank you there. All right, here, Coach Ronnie. You ready to go with this top 10?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go with a category, as it is the top 10 most underrated fighters in the past 35 years. So we're gonna be taking
35 years.
Yeah, hey, this is gonna be something here, man, because we have a list. All right, here we go with number 10. Here for you to read for us here. All right, there you go, Ronnie.
Montel Griffin, known mainly for his DQ win over Roy Jones, but people forget this man beat James Toney twice. Great fundamentals, stinky power, and an iron will. Yes, Montel was a very, very stinky fighter, and he wasn't a big middleweight either. He wasn't, but this dude has skills, man. He has skills, and definitely, man. This guy, it was funny though when he fought Roy Jones because people knew this dude was faking everything. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy, but what can you say? But he did beat James Toney twice. And he did have great fundamentals and sneaky power. He did have that. And he had a very strong will. So, but Montel, absolutely, I agree with that.
Man, yeah, he's definitely one of those. I would say that he was kind of like those matchup issues that you would have when it comes to those fighters like a James Stoney or even Roy Jones, where it's like he's trouble for anybody in any style.
Oh
So
yeah.
it didn't matter, how great the fighter was. If he was matched up against Montel Griffin, Griffin will, find a way to adjust and make it tough for you.
Yes, he did. Yes, indeed.
True that. Hey, Joe, you got something here on Montel Griffin?
Like what?
So as far as like anything more to add about him and his
No. I think this is solid. Number 10, Montel Griffin. It's and he doesn't get the recognition that he deserved.
Absolutely.
He really doesn't, man. He was solid all around, very skilled, deceptive power.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of that damn DQ win over Roy Jones. Let's just be honest.
That was crazy.
He was an outstanding fighter.
Yes, he was. You had to give him that credit.
Yep. Yeah. G Funky says, yep, Griffin was very good. L Box says, yeah, man. It says, yeah, Ice Griffin, man, 92 Olympian there. So yep. So there you go with Montel Griffin. All right. Here we go with number 9.
Ronald Winky White, a slick southpaw who won at 154 and 160, one of the best jabs in the game, who beat Shane Mosley and Tito Trinidad. Absolutely, Winky White. Winky was a good friend of mine. Man, I knew Winky for a long time. Winky, he was a slick southpaw, man. And he did. That was his thing. His jab was his go-to, And when he fought Shane and Tito, man, this guy, they didn't know how to fight him. He was so awkward. He was tall and skinny, long arms, and he was just hard to get in. It was hard to get inside of him. And most guys didn't know how to fight him. And Winky took advantage of everything. But Ronald Winky Wright, my dude.
Yeah, it's amazing how he's become a forgotten name in this era.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
March 13th, 2004, 23rd birthday, I go out to see Winky Wright versus Shane Mosley there in Las Vegas, and seeing Winky Wright there in all his glory to, get that win over Shane Mosley and to become the champion there at 154 pounds. That's, one of the first bouts that or fight cards that I actually went to in Vegas was that fight card. So
oh wow,
definitely stands out to me there. Of course, with Rick Wright being from DC area and resides in St. Petersburg, so definitely had good ties with him. All right, here we go with number 8.
Fernando Vargas, only remember for the losses to Trinidad and De La Hoya, but at his peak, Vargas was a complete fighter with power, timing, and grit. Fought killers early and often. Yes, I agree. Man, yeah, he was remembered for the Trinidad and De La Hoya fight. But yeah, at his peak, boy, Fernando was really good. Fernando spent years in the gym with us, for years.
Main event.
He was part of main events. So wherever we went, Fernando was right there. And
ferocious.
Yep, ferocious Fernando Vargas. His father was there, and he was just a great guy all around. And I'm glad to see him still in the game with his kids. I'm glad to see that too. But Fernando, man, he was something else. He was a really good person also, and we had a lot of fun together.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had a number of good fights there. Of course, not just with Trinidad and De La Hoya, but also Winky too. So I mean, he had a whole bunch of great fights within that particular era there.
He
late 90s, early 2000s.
He didn't duck anybody, man. He was ready.
No, and I tell you what, I wish fighters threw down like ferocious Fernando Vargas and Tito Trinidad. Come
Yeah,
on now.
buddy. Absolutely.
That was all action, all balls, man.
Yes,
And both
indeed.
guys just let their hearts spill out onto the canvas.
Yes,
Where
they
have
did.
you gone, Fernando Vargas? Look, Ronnie, what do you think of the criticism targeted toward the Duvas for sticking them in with behemoths, one after the other, in when he was relatively young?
Well, here's the thing, right? You know, it's so funny that we talk about fighters never fighting anybody. Oh, this guy, he dug this person, he dug that person. But when the guys actually went out and fought somebody, you know, they say, oh, he should have never fought this guy. Or he never should never, you know, come on, man. You can't win for losing, you know?
Not with the fans.
No. But Fernando, he was a fighter that wanted to fight everybody. That's who he was, you know? And he competed, that's what he did. And, and he's going to go down for doing that, as one of the best fighters, to ever put on the pack gloves, because that's who he was. He never ducked anybody.
Raul Marquez, Winky Wright, Ike Corte, Tito Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, Ricardo Mayorga. Those are all the fighters that he fought. I mean,
come on, man.
The only person I'd say, like, at least within my particular, well, I wouldn't say my era, but like the recent era, they kind of like fought everybody like that, is like like Sean Porter, maybe. You know what I mean? Like Sean Porter fought everybody in the welterweight division, but outside of that, you really didn't see that.
You didn't. And Fernando did, man. He did that, and he deserved a lot of respect, man, for fighting everybody. And he fought them at their prime. He didn't wait till these guys got old. He fought these guys at their prime. And every fighter can't say that. So Fernando can definitely, man, go down as one of the best fighters ever, because he fought everybody.
Yeah, for sure. G Funky says, hey, Fernando is a great guy and hilarious. Had the chance to meet him last year. Yep.
That's why he had such a huge fan base.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, here we go with number 7.
Stevie Johnston, the little but bad, was one of the slickest lightweights in the late 90s. 2-time champ, amazing footwork, solid defense and heart, but is largely forgotten today. Yeah, Stevie Johnston.
Boy, he was a bad dude, Coach.
Yeah, he was. But you don't hear anything about him, man. And that's, and that's what happens to some fighters. They go off the radar. And Stevie was one of those that went off the radar.
A travesty.
Yep.
And we see plenty of Tim Bradley, and look, he's in the Hall of Fame, and oh, dude, you can't. Man, we get too much of Tim Bradley. Where's Stevie Johnston?
Yeah, he's
2
off the radar, man.
2-time WBC lightweight champion. When had those fights with Jose Luis Castillo. I don't know that rematch. Oh man,
boy, Stevie Johnston was a bad dude, man.
Yeah, he was.
Yep, for sure. All right, here we go. Now this one's a good one here for number 6. Here we go.
There we go. Glenn Johnson, the Road Warrior, never ducked a soul. He knocked out Roy Jones Jr. and beat Antonio Tarver, yet always seemed to play the underdog. Absolutely, man. Glenn was something else, man. That's why they called him Road Warrior, because
I'm not the best. I'm just the one who's willing to fight the best.
That's right.
And he went. Right. And he went to your hometown to fight you if he had to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Glenn did. Absolutely. He wasn't afraid of anybody.
Oh man, that fight against Roy Jones and him, just outworking him, and to see Roy Jones like that, ooh,
yeah.
I thought it
Franchise.
was over for Roy Jones after that. Like I thought his career was absolutely done after.
It should have been.
Yeah, it should have been. It should have been. Oh
Yeah.
man,
Dude, watching Roy Jones go down like that was like
Yeah.
staring at the sun. Physically painful.
goodness,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was
Oh,
Yeah.
brutal.
dude. It's like, man, why do you have to go to Russia to get knocked out viciously by Lebedev? Come on now. And then go to Australia and get knocked out in one round by Danny Green.
Danny Green.
Come on, dude.
Uh,
We didn't need to see that.
No. No.
uh,
But you know, money talks.
Uh,
it's true. That is
yeah, I'll
really
tell you
true.
what, Manny. Take a good look at Roy Jones. You don't need none of that, brother.
You never know, man. It might need that money.
Oh, yeah, you're being nice, brother.
Oh,
Uh,
goodness. All right. Oh, G Funky says HBO had the credits rolling and bro was still down on the canvas.
Man, his head,
yeah.
his George Jefferson looking head bounced on that canvas like about 10 times.
Wow.
Oh,
Didn't you always think that Roy Jones looked like an athletic version of Sherman Helmsley?
oh no.
Weezy,
I'm not
Weezy.
going there.
No. All right. Here we go with number 5.
Joel Casamia, the Cuban slicker, fought everyone and one of the most underrated IQs in the ring. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You
You
never
know,
hear about him either, Coach.
you don't hear anything about him. I still see him a lot, though. You know, he's still working with these young fighters. He's still, you know, he's a trainer now. He's doing really good. But man, when he was a fighter, he was slick. He was in the gym with us a lot. You know, back when they had Team Freedom. You know, Team Freedom was with, you know, they all was with Manny Vince. Manny Vince had them all signed. And Team Freedom, they was something else, man. Oh wow. But Casimir was the leader. You know, he was the world champion. Fought anybody, everybody, didn't care who it was. You know, these guys fought back then. And this guy never ducked anybody. So Joel Casimir, I still see him a lot. Still talk to him. We still talk about the old days of being in camp together. You know, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
run
class
of the
act. And
early,
he never
early
priced himself
2000s.
out of a fight either.
No, never. He didn't care who he fought. Just let him fight. That's what he wanted to do.
Yep. Yeah, early in mid 2000s. Yeah, he fought everybody there for sure. And you know, there's a few that either were around this list or could have been in this list here that could be included. But we might touch on that here once we complete this top 10. But we're gonna go here with number 4.
Juan Diaz, the baby bull, who became a unified lightweight champion while being a student at the University of Houston. Of course, the baby bull, that was my guy. You know, man, I tell you, Juan, you know, he's such a great human being, first of all. And then he was a badass fighter, too. When this kid, man, he trained like, I mean, wow, it was unbelievable the way this kid, he was so dedicated to not only to be a boxer, but he wanted to help his family. You know, he didn't want to see his mom and dad struggle. So he worked his ass off every single day in that gym. And this kid, you know, he deserved to be world champion because he wasn't going to go down without a fight. You know, when you stepped in there for Juan Diaz, you know you better be ready because he was going to be on your ass for 12 rounds. He wasn't a knockout puncher. He didn't have that one punch KO, but what he did was relentless. He had a relentless spirit that didn't know how to back up. And that's the way he trained the same way, you know. And, you know, he came by my gym a couple of weeks ago with his son. And I let his son spoil my guy, David Stevens, you know, and his son fights just like him, you know,
Mm.
and, you know, it's, I mean, it's just unbelievable that one has a kid who's a fighter, you know, he's an amateur kid, but he fights just like his dad, you know, but, you know, I got nothing but love for Juan Diaz.
You know, the thing that always made really pissed me off, because puro Mexicano, man. I'm Hispanic as well, and everyone it used to drive you nuts, Coach Ronnie, when you'd hear commentators remark about, oh, he looks flabby, he's not in great shape. It's like, dude, it's genetics. He's got that taco build just like me, man. But he outworked everybody.
He outworked everybody. So how could you say that? You know? Yeah, he was flabby. Okay, so what? But you know what? He was on your ass for 12 whole rounds. He was in shape. He never stepped in that ring being out of shape like so many guys do. Juan Diaz fought to the end.
And he didn't use Memo Heredia.
No, he didn't.
Sure didn't need to. Sure did not need to.
He sure didn't. He had the stamina, man. He had the stamina. You know. That was the baby boy.
Man, and you don't hear anything about the baby bull Juan Diaz. And look, I can't think of very many better ambassadors for our beloved boxing than Juan Diaz.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt. You know, but he is doing something. He's doing something with the WBA now. You know, he's working with them. This is why you'll see him on occasion at these world title fights. As long as the WBA has something to do with it, they'll send Juan as a representative. So he's starting to get involved in that and doing that. So I'm glad to see him, you know, at least doing something in the sport.
Good man.
That's real good. Real good. Yeah. Hopefully, you know, I'll be able to see him in one of these fights here in the near future there, you know, representing the WBA.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we're about to get this here ready for number 3. Here we go with number 3.
Micah Nunn, with his slick southpaw style, lightning fast hand, Nunn was a nightmare for everyone. At his peak, he was nearly untouchable. Sorry. Yes, indeed. Michael second to none.
Mm-hmm.
he was funny, man. But man, could he fight. This dude, you know, he was throwing punches like crazy. And, you know, he was tall for his weight and skinny as hell, you know. But, man, could he go. Yeah, he was something else, man. He was a nightmare. And people didn't want to fight him. Everybody tried to stay away from Michael Nunn. You know?
That's a damn shame he was co-managed by Michael J. Fox. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say anything more because I value my life. But all I can say is, you know what? Karma's a bitch, isn't it, Michael?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yes, I said it.
All right. So with that being said, let's move ahead to number 2.
Julian Jackson, one of the hardest punchers in boxing history, yet often left out of the GOAT conversations. His highlight reel knockouts were the stuff of legend. Yes, indeed. Julian Jackson, absolutely.
Man, that guy had a sledgehammer in his fist.
Yes, he did.
Oof.
He could punch. Stone
cold killer, Ronnie.
Yes, he was. He was. And, you know, and it's funny you don't hear anything about him anymore. Nobody talks about him.
You think it was the cameo haircut?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Hey, when you be a singer or you're a fighter, we didn't know. I'm surprised he didn't come in with an Elvis costume on.
Oh, man. The Hawk.
Yeah, that's something, you know. I mean, even though he's, you know, mentioned as Hall of Famer and multiple Hall of Fames, not just for Nevada, but of course International Boxing Hall of Fame. But yeah, he's not really kind of mentioned up there as far as like top fighters of all time.
Right.
Coach Ronnie,
Absolutely.
who was a bigger pound for pound puncher? Tommy Hearns or Julian Jackson?
Oh, Julian Jackson for sure.
Mm.
Julian Jackson for sure.
Oof.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. It said the Hawk, one of the hardest punches in the history of boxing there.
Yes,
Yep.
he was. Yes, he was. Yep. And you don't hear his name much anymore.
Yeah.
Shame.
But he's visible and he's out there, man. He's out in a lot of these either well-known events there for boxing too. So I mean, you definitely do see him. Just that like we said, he's not mentioned as much as far as like.
It's a damn shame his sons don't have his power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, now here we go with the number one most underrated fighter in the past 35 years.
Donna, the Lone Star Cobra Curry. His silky smooth skills and looked like the next Sugar Ray Leonard in the early 80s, but his fall from grace has overshadowed just how brilliant he truly was. Let me tell you something, man. I got history with Donald Curry.
What?
Oh yeah. And Donald Curry fought twice as an amateur. In amateurs.
Mm.
And I won the first one, he won the second one. And this dude, man, can punch. He had a good punch on him in the amateurs. So, and we fought in the amateurs. We didn't fight in the pros. But, and I was getting out of the amateurs, when we fought, and he was just coming into it. And so, but yeah, man, Donald, man, and I know his brother Bruce. I know Bruce Curry, his brother, who was a good fighter also. He was a good fighter, but man, the Lone Star Cobra, man, he was something else, man.
He was special.
He was special, and he's not doing too good today, though.
Oh.
We was talking about him a couple of weeks ago. I was talking with some people about him, and people was wondering how do we get in touch with him because nobody is saying anything, man. They're not saying anything if he needs help or whatever is going on, And so, but somebody said, I think he's married and his wife is taking care of him, but, nobody knows anything. So, but man, Donna Curry, man, he definitely was one of the best fighters in his era.
Boy, G Funky has two very solid honorable mentions.
Oh man,
Obakar.
Oh, Obakar, yeah, Oba. And Tony Tucker.
I'm surprised no one mentioned Antonio Tarver. He's the only American amateur to win in the same year the U.S. Nationals, the Pan Am Games, and the World Championships. Yeah, no one's ever done that.
No. Nope.
Yeah. Listen, he was on the high consideration on the list. This was a really, really tough top 10. Hey, we had Antonio Tarver, as I mentioned. We had Osvaldo Popo Freitas.
Freitas, I remember Freitas. Yeah.
We had Maravilla, Sergio Martinez.
Yeah, Sergio Martinez. Yeah.
We had Edwin Valero as one fighter. And then also we had Chris Bird.
Chris Bird, yeah. You got to put Chris Bird up there.
Around heavyweight champion.
Small heavyweight, too.
Yeah.
One of the smallest ever.
So we could have probably had a list of like 20 fighters to put on.
Yeah, you should have. You could have.
Handed Vitaly Klitschko his first loss.
You sure did.
Also beat David Tua. I'm sorry to bring that up, Coach.
That's okay.
Yeah. So I mean that was a definite.
I'll be honest. I thought his performance against David Tua was one of the finest I've ever seen from a small heavyweight.
Yeah. Yeah. He was slick, man. He was really good. Absolutely.
Oh man, Chris Bird. Oof. Yeah, I still couldn't get how he was able to get those wins over Klitschko and yeah, even with Tua, but yeah, he was one of the more underrated fighters there within that particular era in heavyweights. Because yeah, him, the Klitschko's, Tua, you had Lamont Brewster, Corey Sanders, yeah. But all of them could fight. That was the thing about it. All of them could fight, So definitely made for a great division at that time period. But yep, that is our segment there for the top 10. And well, it ended up almost being like 15 or 16, as many as we had there. All right, so we're gonna get right back into things here with Coach Ronnie, but we got to get a little bit more here with this part. Here
Either get busy living or get busy dying. Or get busy playing rapid fire Q&A with Coach Ronnie Shields.
All right, so we're gonna go with this category here with rapid fire culture class, 70s versus 80s versus 90s. So here we go. All right, either the Star Wars original trilogy or the Matrix trilogy.
Star Wars, all day long.
Yeah, that's not even close, Coach.
No, not at all.
Yes.
And I blame that on Roy Jones.
Oh man! Oh goodness!
Right. He may have looked like Sherman Hemsley, but he couldn't act like him.
Oh, come on, man! All right, here we go with the next one: roller disco or roller blades?
Oh, roller disco. Roller disco all day long.
Jeez, rollerblades.
Yeah. Nah, could be it.
I think Devin Haney is the last guy to still use rollerblades.
Yeah, that could be the case. All right, here we go with this next one. All right, old school wrestling: Ric Flair or The Rock?
Oh, I'm going with Rock. I gotta go with The Rock. Gotta go with The Rock on this one.
Oh,
wait a minute. What'd you just say?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I gotta go with The Rock on this one.
Oh man.
The Rock all day long.
Ooh, boy, look at the time.
I know.
Oh man. All right, here we go. All right, let's go with this next one. 80s breakdancing or 90s house party dancing?
Oh, I gotta go with the 80s breakdancing. That was the most popular, man.
Yeah.
Look, I'll be honest. Even a chubby Mexicano like myself I actually used to break dance. That's the truth.
Yeah, that was all time. I was still a baby by that when that was going down. Oh
hey,
man!
James, pull that one up in the comments.
All right, hold up. What do we got? All right, better two-sport athlete: Deion Sanders or Bo Jackson?
Oh my God, that's a good one. But I gotta go with my boy Deion.
Yes.
Deion.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta go with Deion.
Woo! He played for my two teams, the Reds and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Gotta go with Deion Sanders.
Yes, indeed.
All right, here we go.
Wait a minute, James. You don't agree with that?
What? I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go with Deion. I have to. He played for the Cowboys and the Atlanta Braves. So there you go. All right.
There it is.
Mr. T or Will Smith?
I gotta go with my boy, Mr. T, man. Gotta go with the T.
Mr. T wouldn't have been caught dead at a Diddy party.
Never.
Ever. All right, here we go.
Hey, I got one more, man. One more in the comments.
All right, hold up. All right. Oh, come on, man. Come on.
Oh, that's an easy one, man.
Come on, man.
Panera Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Come on.
All day long.
I just had to put that out there, man, because there's still a lot of people, man, who snub Pernell Whitaker. Come on now.
Snub him all they want to. The fact speaks for itself.
Yeah. Floyd will tell you. Okay? Floyd will tell you. All right, here we go. Bell bottoms or acid wash jeans?
Oh, bell bottoms all day. I wish I could wear some bell bottoms today.
Yep. Acid wash, that has to be the worst trend in clothing.
Yeah.
Well, that's a close second, man, to MC Hammer pants.
That's right.
All right. All right, here we go. Michael Jordan in the 90s or Magic Johnson in the 80s?
Oh my God. I had to go with Jordan, man.
Oh.
I gotta go with the Jordan. I like Magic, but no. Nobody could touch Jordan.
Oh.
Jordan is like Sade.
Oh, boo. Boo.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to go with you on this one. Oh.
You know what, man? You know what? Magic Johnson had stiffer competition. I'll say that.
Come on, Joseph.
I'll put it.
Come on.
Michael Jordan versus John Stockton. Come on now.
Hey, John Stockton was good, man.
He wasn't Larry Bird.
No,
He wasn't
Larry
Isaiah
Bird.
Thomas.
He wasn't G. Like Magic like resurrected the NBA from basically being almost dead in the 70s. So I always have a affinity to Magic Johnson and what he did there with the Lakers. So yeah, I had to do that one. All right, here we go with the next one. The Bee Gees or Nirvana?
Bee Gees all day long.
That's not even close, Coach.
Yeah, not at all.
Oh man. All right, here we go with the next one.
Can you say the most overrated band in the history of the rock genre? Nirvana. Come on now.
Oh my God.
Dude.
Well, see, I don't go back that far with Nirvana, but the Bee Gees, yeah.
Oh man, Barry Gibb, to this day, one of the most prolific songwriters in the 20th century.
Yep.
All right, here we go with the next one here with the songs. All right. Don't Stop Believing or Smells Like Teen Spirit?
Oh, goodness.
Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah. Smells Like Teen Spirit. Goodness gracious. Once again, Nirvana, most underrated band in the history of the rock genre. And I'm not afraid to say that.
Hey, listen. Diamond Dallas Page's version.
Diamond Dallas Page. Was that one of your best wrestlers, Joseph?
Oh, Diamond Dallas. Look. You know what, man?
I met him before. I met him before.
DDB?
Yeah, I met him. Yeah, I met him.
He is a terribly nice guy, but I couldn't stand his couldn't stand him in the ring.
Yeah.
I was NWO for life.
Hey, he said, like Diamond Dallas Page is like an overachiever there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen his wife? I'll say he's an overachiever.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dude, he looks like someone played golf on his face. You look like Noriega's half brother.
Oh my God.
Oh man. All right, now here we go with this one, and this one was the one where we thought we probably could get you. All right, here we go. Lisa Bonet or Janet Jackson?
I gotta go with my girl, Janet Jackson.
No, boo.
Gotta go with Janet.
I knew it.
I gotta go with Janet, man.
Hey, come on.
Lisa Bonet, she's okay, but no.
Okay?
Just okay, yeah.
It wasn't Janet.
Oh, my word.
She's no Sade.
Oh, my word.
She's no Sade.
Well, you know what they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
That's right.
Unless you're Coach Ronnie Shields.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Oh,
this is another one. I guess this is another one, Joe. But yeah, I'm sorry. I would go with Janet as well.
Oh, stop it.
See?
Like, come on. Control Janet. Oh, we're
Control
the
Janet.
Janet.
No,
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys are just biased.
Oh,
No.
Lord. Oh,
Come on, dude. Penny from Good Times. Come on now,
That's right. That's right, Penny.
Oh,
dude. And on Different Strokes, she was Willis's squeeze, man. Come on
Yeah,
now.
that's right.
I'll take Lisa Bonet any day of the week.
oh man. Oh, that was.
Come on, man. Look, dude, she was married to DeBarge,
Yep.
and Lisa Bonet was married to Lenny Kravitz. No
Yep.
comparison. Come on.
Oh man. Sorry, man. I gotta roll with the coach on this one.
Oh, jeez. That doesn't surprise me.
Oh,
Things
man.
are not the Mexicano. I got it. Yeah.
Well, we got one here, one bonus one here from G Funky before we get to back to fiction. Here we go. Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan?
Oh, that's not even
Bruce
close.
Lee all day long.
Jackie Chan, he looks like he's dancing. He doesn't look like he's fighting.
No.
It's all choreographed nonsense, man.
Oh yeah. Not even close. All
Bruce
right.
Lee all day.
Yep.
All right. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty here. The tail is so here we go. Yeah, I'm sorry, we gotta bring him back.
Hey, this show needed the cash cow back to introduce fact or fiction.
Man, we so much we gotta beat on the show. All right, here we go with number 7. All right, hold on. All right, here we go. Bill Haney calling out Brian Norman Jr. to mere smoke screen to take focus off of Devin Haney celebrating and participating in Pride Month. Oh my!
Come on. Are you serious?
Hey, yeah, Coach, he was at a Diddy party. I didn't make that up.
Oh my God.
Hey, how's the baby oil feeling, Devin?
Oh my God! See, I did not come up with this. I
wonder who came up with that.
Oh my.
Oh,
Hey, he wanted to be singing, huh?
I guess so. Oh.
It's all in good fun, Coach.
Yeah.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah.
This is what you get when you pose half naked with P. Diddy. That's what you get.
And the defense didn't even want to bring up anybody to the stand.
Nobody.
Oh goodness. Oh man. I guess
rest their case.
Yep. Goodness. I guess with that being said, maybe we can just go ahead and move to number 8. Here we go. Next year, Turkey LLC will stage all Riyadh season events in a 15 by 15 foot ring. Fact or fiction?
That's going to be a fact. He's trying to do that now.
Mm.
He's definitely trying to do that. And hey, look, you want to get paid? You got no choice. But understand something. Vito fought in the 15 by 15 the other night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did see that. Yes. Yeah. That certainly was a small looking ring there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like the same ring they used for Chavez Jr. and Andy Lee in El Paso.
That was it.
Emmanuel was pissed.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Yeah, that's hey, they want to increase activity and action there for a number of the fights. Hey, I guess this is one of the things they got to do. But the other thing too is I think they might need a little bit more input when it comes to matchmaking in some cases because
yes,
it's some of these matches that they've had. Here it's not, it's not good. Sometimes you can see that it's not good on paper. And, we do have a fear of that coming up on September 13th. So Are they going to have a 15 by 15 foot ring for that fight? I wonder. But
Well, I tell you what, if they want to see some action, they better.
yeah, I definitely agree
Let's
with
be
that.
honest. You know what? Crawford's a great fighter. He's an all-time great. You could put him in any era, and he would excel. He would do just fine. But let's be honest. He is not above stinking out the joint to get the W.
Yep.
If he doesn't get the knockout, let's be honest. His fights at times are downright uneventful. We just saw that with Madrimov.
Yeah.
He said that, with the Porter fight, and I was all over the place before, Crawford was able to get the stoppage in that. But yeah, that one, was not a slugfest, but a hugfest, they said. So, man. So I really hope that we do get some very good action here for that fight coming up.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. If he doesn't want Tom and Jerry fights, as he characterizes, boy, he sure paid a lot of money for one. Be honest, guys. Canelo versus Crawford has stinker written all over it.
Well, we gonna see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Let's see what happens.
I mean, they sure tried to make the most of it at that press conference in New York City on Sunday. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. All right. Let's see if we can move forward here with number 9. Turkey Al-Sheikh will be one and done with Dana White as his lead promoter for big-time events because the power struggle will be too much for his ego. Fact or fiction?
That could be a fact. But, here's the thing, man. Why would you go out and get a guy that's never done boxing before and put him in this position? He's a wrestling guy or an MMA guy, Yeah, so why would you put him in a boxing when he doesn't know much about the sport? It's not just because I watch it that you know it. No. I don't understand that. He
wants that UFC fan base, and he wants that relationship with Netflix.
Yes, of course. But
he probably wants Donald Trump to show up at his events too.
Probably, he probably do. But you go get a non-boxing guy to do this. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
Nope. And the ego of Dana White, I can't see him coexisting with Turkey Al-Sheikh for longer than a year.
Yeah, me too.
If Turkey Al-Sheikh thought that Eddie Hearn had a little bit of an ego, Dana White is like Eddie Hearn times 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we're about what, a few months away from that fight, taking place. So,
and that's another thing. What's up with Dana White giving the winner multi-million-dollar bonus? Do you really think they're not making enough money for this fight, Dana? You think that's going to motivate either guy?
Right.
Jeez, man. So, yeah, you're right on the money, Coach. Yeah, man, this guy does not deserve 2 megastars in his main event in his first boxing match. That is sacrilegious, brother.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't end up as a stinker of a fight to be on Netflix.
Well, look, on the big stage, we just can't win. We can't win. I'm truly convinced that our beloved boxing is cursed on the big stage in the American market.
No, and
because whenever all mainstream eyes are upon us, it's a dud. It's like you never see Trinidad versus Vargas any longer.
No.
You end up seeing Mayweather versus Pacquiao.
No, we don't see Trinidad versus De La Hoya.
You see Tyson versus Jake Paul.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I hate to say this, but I think the women's rubber match is going to be the most action-filled. And it pains me to see this of the big fights coming up on Netflix.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. I mean, they, with them, with Taylor and Serrano having those styles, they've had, 2 classic fights. So, we're looking to see that happen again here on July 11th. So, looking forward to that there in Madison Square Garden. There. So we got that coming up, and then, but also here more with that Crawford and Canelo. Here we go with number 10. Santos O. Alvarez Barragan is being terribly unfair by stating that future Hall of Famer Terrence Allen Crawford hasn't fought anyone. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that's fiction, man. Come on, man. He can't give Crawford his props. Wow.
Oh, so you're saying it's a fact? Yeah, he's being terribly unfair. Look, Canelo, when you're the biggest ticket seller and the biggest marquee draw in North America, everyone's lining up to fight you. But when you're not a huge ticket seller like Terrence Crawford and you've got those skills, you're a switch hitting badass, who's lining up to fight Terrence Crawford?
Nobody.
Exactly. So Canelo, shut up, man.
Oh,
man, I tell you what, that rapid fire Q&A put me in a sour mood, brother. I say that in jest.
Yeah, just can't get over Janet.
You know what? Between Janet and Sade, man, I'm not going to introduce any more rapid fire Q&A with any women anymore, dude. Forget it.
Oh goodness. Oh man. Oh man. All right.
Gee,
Are you saying something, Coach?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say it was the sweetest taboo, but.
Oh, you know what, man? One hit wonder. That's all I have to say.
Oh,
one hit wonder.
That's all right. It's still a hit.
Operator, my ass.
It's still a hit.
Oh man. All right. Here we go. We're gonna move here with these last couple. All right, number 11. Although boxing is indeed the theater of the unexpected, Shakur Stevenson will school William Zepeda in a few weeks. Fact or fiction?
Well, I don't know if he's going to school him, but it's going to be a good fight, I believe. And, it's not going to be unexpected. I mean, I think everybody picked Shakur to win. But Zepeda is going to come, man. He's going to bring it. But I picked Shakur to win, so I think it's a good fight, though.
I kind of like view this as like Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez. So I think that one was, pretty good there for the first few rounds. And then Shakur Stevenson just made his adjustments. And then in the latter half of the fight, just made it, a little bit easy for him. And, Valdez was kind of like discouraged and didn't really, try that much there within those last few rounds to make it for Shakur Stevenson to have that decision. So I'm looking for this to be the same way.
Right.
So that's what I got for it. So after that, I'm looking for Shakur Stevenson to be involved in one of the biggest fights there in boxing. But we'll have to see if that comes to fruition here later on down the line. But let's see.
Zepeda defensively has more holes than Swiss cheese.
So you think it's gonna be like even worse than the Oscar Valdez fight?
I'm sorry, what?
You thinking it's gonna be worse than the Oscar Valdez fight then, Joe?
I think William Zepeda has the style and the porous defense that he's gonna make Shakur Stevenson look like Floyd Mayweather Jr. when he fought Diego Corrales. That's what I think.
Oh.
This is the style to bring out the best in Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
That can do it.
That's Oscar, be careful what you ask for. I'll tell you what a better question is. Coach, How do you see Floyd Schofield Jr. faring against Tevin Farmer?
You know, that's a good fight, man. That's really a good fight. And I think it's a 50-50 fight, to tell you the truth. You know, I haven't seen Tevin fight in a while, so I don't know. But, you know, Floyd haven't fought in a while either because of what happened to him in Saudi. But, you know, I don't know, man. I think it's a toss-em-up fight.
Tell you what, win or lose, Floyd Schofield's not going to look good. He's not going to look good in victory or in loss. Tevin Farmer just has that style, man. He spoils your boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to look, if he does win, it's going to look a lot like the Raymond Murataya victory.
Right.
But that's just my thoughts. What do I know? Lisa Bone.
We shall see, right?
Yeah, I think it's
Dude, I'm
gonna
gonna be salty about that for the rest of the week, man.
I'm really interested to see what happens here with Floyd Schofield Jr. in this bout against Tevin Farmer. I mean, they still, have Floyd Schofield as one of those top contenders there in the lightweight division, and he's just gonna be waiting it out to see if he could be in position for a title shot. But in the meantime, he's going to need these type of fights to see where he is in this stage of his professional career. So, I mean, he hasn't had a fight since his bout against Rene Tejas last year. So we got to see how fresh he is, if he's, in a gear to, be going up against a style that's completely different than Rene Tejas there with Tevin Farmer. So, that's the thing about it, being able to adjust and adapt to different styles in the ring. There, that's what makes you closer to being a complete fighter. All right, now here we go with number 12 here for Fact or Fiction. All right, Eddie Hearn will never learn to not stick his British contenders and prospects in with hard-nosed Mexican punchers. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that's a fact.
Yeah. Oh man, Eddie.
Eddie. Yeah.
Look, I'll be honest. It's hard to argue against the legitimacy of the Eddie Hearn curse.
Yeah.
Like, really, if you were a prospect, would you sign with Matchroom Sport?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
It's like, dude, he's gonna get you beat. Probably at the 6 and 8 round level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this one here, I mean, of course, with Refine getting that win over Sonny Edwards and basically making him retire. Then you put him up against Francisco Rodriguez, and Rodriguez just basically beats him to fill in the post for 12 rounds. Like, come on, what are we doing here, Eddie?
Yeah.
Here's the problem, right? His problem is his matchmakers.
Well, you know who his matchmaker is, and I love his matchmaker, but yeah, he's just a little too green for this kind of assignment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I love Kevin. He's a great guy, very smart.
You gotta have matchmakers that know everybody, man. Let me tell you something. Top Rank has the best matchmakers in boxing.
Brad Goodman, Bruce Trampler.
Yep. They're the best.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
But look, you've got Tom Brown with PBC, future Hall of Famer, first ballot.
Yeah. But Tom is not going anywhere, They should look at, trying to hire these guys away from Top Rank now, because what is Top Rank going to do now?
Yeah, I'll be honest, Coach. We've had club shows that actually are better than the one we just saw on ESPN. Look, no offense, but that looked like a club show, didn't it?
Yeah, I think the main and the core was the two best fights on the night, of course. But
no, I'm talking about the production in the ring and everything.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it was crazy because you really didn't have ESPN broadcasters.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, that
know,
was
they
it.
didn't. Yeah, they didn't. Except for the lady. The lady was.
Yeah, Christina Pancho was there.
Yeah, Christina. Yeah, she's really good. I like her. I think she's a really good announcer. But I don't know why they didn't use they own that. They own announcers. But I don't know. But maybe because it was on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, it was, I think, mainly handled there by Rising Star Promotions, I guess. So maybe that was part of it as well.
Coach,
Yeah.
can you address the most recent comments?
Let me see. Hold on there. He says, "Hey, do you think it's the matchmakers or the talent when it comes to being there for a match room?"
Oh, I think it's the matchmakers.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
People
definitely the
don't
matchmakers. It's
realize,
not the
Coach,
talent.
that it's the most difficult job in boxing.
Oh, it is, man. It is. You know, people got to understand the old saying in boxing: styles make fights. And
Hmm.
and if you want a good fight, you got to look at the styles, man. You can't match these guys that you know, that's running all over the place, and you got the favorite guy don't know how to cut the ring off. So why would you make that fight when
Yep.
why would you do that to the fans? You know, and you know, some of these fights just don't make sense at all. They don't have to be made, but they make them anyway. You know, and it just doesn't make sense. So, but you got matchmakers that really know how it's supposed to go, and these are the guys that they need to seek out just to make matches.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know what's amazing is it's an art form, and it takes a really knowledgeable special matchmaker to cultivate your talent at the 4, 6, 8 round level, putting him in matchups where he can win, but that are going to push him and season him correctly as well.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like if you
Absolutely.
look at the job Bruce Trampler did with Miguel Cotto,
Yep.
it was masterful.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's one of the best examples of world class elite level matchmaking.
Yep.
Bruce Trampler, how we cultivated and brought out the best in Miguel Cotto.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, the JUD says that the guy Francisco Rodriguez was a fight style, he was just better at it. Says also that these guys just running into stiff competition and folding every time. Yeah, yeah. Well,
That's what I'm saying. They're not cultivated properly at the 4, 6, and 8 round level. Like I'll be honest, it was shocking that Edgar Berlanga slipped through the cracks with Top Rank.
right.
Rather than actually cultivating his skill set and seasoning him properly over the 4, 6, and 8 round level, they were just trying to build his brand with the first round knockouts. And then he gets to the championship level, the 10 and 12 round fights. Now what?
Yeah.
Look like a deer in headlights.
Yep. And the same thing. That's why Roberto Diaz got canned by Golden Boy, because he was responsible for Ryan Garcia. He got a bunch of early knockouts, build his brand. But now what? He's used to making all that long green, and he's a one-dimensional fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do with him now? Mr. Rolly again?
He can't. I don't see that happening.
See, that's what I'm saying. It takes a really special skill set. Matchmaking is, and then you've got to make it make sense and convince both fighters that this tough assignment is worth the money that's being offered.
Right.
That's a chore in itself.
Oh, no doubt.
Oof. Man, sometimes it takes, oh my gosh, man. It's and who gets the blame when something like this happens, right? It's the matchmaker.
Yep.
Who gets the glory when your fighter wins? Not you.
Yeah, definitely not you. That's something
Matchmaker
that
gets all the blame.
that's what Brad Goodman said, man. It's like when it goes great, you don't get the credit, but when it all goes wrong, yeah, you get all.
You get all the blame.
It's a thankless endeavor, man, and it's the toughest job in boxing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, like you were saying there, it's like very tough to come up with those great fights, as they say, that can end up being like fights of the year or whatever it is, and it would take like a lot of research, a lot of work, a lot of scouting in order to make those type of matchups. So they're like one of the probably the biggest researchers in the game of boxing, because they have to study just about every fighter to see which matchups can make the most sense for them, at the time before it actually comes to fruition. So, like I said,
that said, I think Top Rank and I thought PBC did an excellent job of cultivating and still doing an excellent job of cultivating Vito's skill set.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I think they're doing a fine job, and I don't understand what all the scrutiny is about.
Yeah, I don't see it either. He's gotta.
He's still a kid.
Yeah. That's
what were you doing when you were 23?
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. It's like they want to put these young guys to the high level there right off the bat or something, like it never really worked that way. You only had that as far as like very rare occasions. So that's the thing. You gotta still see what is there that you could fully build your fighter to make sure that he's a complete fighter once they're ready to have these big fights coming up for him once that opportunity does come up. So there with Vito, like you still have the time to get him there, get him those fights, so that once the time comes for like a world title fight, he'll definitely be ready.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing. If I hear one more fan make the claim that White Magic is racist, man, come on now. I like his moniker.
Yeah, absolutely.
How is it any different than white chocolate was back in the day?
Yeah.
Hey, what happened to that cracker, man? I'm being serious. What happened to that dude?
I don't know, man. I have to.
I don't know
to see what's up with Jay, with as they say, Jay Will. So see where he is at this point. Oh man. But there you go. That is factor fiction there for Coach Ronnie, man. So you know what I mean? Oh man, that was a great segment here. And a great show as always with the Coach Ronnie. And we do this, as we said, every Tuesday here on the Boston Source YouTube channel. And of course, I wouldn't be able to do it with my great co-host, of course, Mr. Joseph Herron of War of Week Boxing there. So we got all of this factor fictions and Q&As and the top 10s that we were able to get through there. But any parting words here from you, Coach Ronnie, before we roll out of here?
As always, you can follow me on Instagram at official Ronnie Shields.
All right, so there you go, man. That is what we have here for this version of Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields and with my co-host Joseph Herron. I am J.R. Bell of the Boston Source. Have a good evening, everyone.
Boxing Source proudly presents Real Boxing with legendary fight trainer Ronnie Shields.